Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Glad you could join me. Today we have a 2006, I believe, Chevy Duramax. It is losing antifreeze. Customer can't figure out where it's going. He said he's added several gallons and he said it's a slow leak. He can't figure out where it's going. So we're going to hope that he's got a leak somewhere other than the head gasket. I've done enough head gaskets on these Duramaxes that I tend to get a little bit concerned when people say they're losing antifreeze but they don't know where it's going. So let's get the hood opened if we can. Contact. Alright, as we can see, well, looks like our serpentine belt is almost shot. First thing I usually do is I test that. That's not tight. However, this here is dark. That's not a really good sign there, to be perfectly honest. Yeah, because at one point in time it would appear, whether it's now or whether it has been in the past, as we can see, this truck's been modified, but whether it's now or in the past, this truck has passed a little bit of exhaust into the antifreeze. So concerning slightly. There's just a few places that this thing could be leaking at, and we can see that looking at it from the side here. One of the other things I'll look at is to see if this thing's been studded, but this is a regular head bolt, so it does not have the ARP head studs on it. So I don't believe head gaskets have been done. That concerns me slightly. We'll get underneath here. Let's see if we can find any kind of a leak at all. There is a, up there, I don't have my flashlight, but up there on the water pump, there's a weep hole that sometimes it'll be leaking out of, and I don't really see anything. But again, customer said that it's been a really slow leak, not something that he's that's been leaking a lot. So let's get this thing driving. We'll drive this thing a little bit and see if there's any pressure getting into our system here. This hose will get a little bit harder to squeeze as it heats up, but a lot of times if there's a head gasket, bugs, get out of my mouth. If there's a head gasket problem, a lot of times that thing will get hard, like rock hard. So let's see, let's just do another once over up top here. I don't see any. This hose here will sometimes leak. I don't see anything there. I don't see anything up here. There's another bypass hose back here that will sometimes leak. I don't see anything there. So yeah, this one's not too bad. I thought this looked like it was about to tear, but it actually feels pretty good and it looks fairly new, so I don't think that hose is of any concern to us. All right, well, let's see. Let's just make sure we don't have anything coming down the side of the radiator here, because sometimes these radiator tanks will leak. Really don't see anything there. Let's come over to this side. Another place we can have a leak is a lot of times up here on this line here. we'll have this thing here will break right up here, this weld, and you can have an antifreeze leak there. That will leak down on top of the valve cover, and it actually does look like a head gasket leaking. I mean, it can if you don't know what you're looking for, so be aware of that. That there will break sometimes. You can also, I've never really had this one leak, but there's a weld there as well. All right, so we're looking down the side of the radiator here. I'm not seeing anything here. Okay. Yeah, this is starting to become a little concerning about a possible head gasket issue. I've done enough of these that it makes me really nervous, and I don't want to do a head gasket. It's a lot of labor. It's a lot involved to do a head gasket. Okay, well, let's go ahead. Let's get this truck started. He also said that there's a leak, or an exhaust leak, down here on the exhaust. Let's take a look at that before we start it. He didn't think it was going to be a hard fix, but don't know. All right, let's see. Oh, okay. Yeah, there's, okay. All right, well, all right, now let's just get underneath here. Sometimes I've had, ouch, where there'll be a leak off of the oil cooler back here, which I'm not seeing a leak back here. Well, okay. All right. You know what? What's this? That almost looks like it could be streaking right there with water. I mean, it's dry. Okay, let's get this thing up to operating temperature. We'll get back underneath here with a flashlight. Let's see if we can get any kind of a handle on whether this thing has a leak or whether it's losing antifreeze through the exhaust. Well, I've started the truck, and I couldn't tell you how many miles it's got on. Oh, there we go. 239,483 miles on the odometer. All right, let's get this thing out. Let's see if we can get figured out where this thing might be losing antifreeze. I know that some people get a little, you know, discombobulated with I think the system seems to be a little complicated for some people. I think something like that. I don't know if that's the right word to use, but I've seen a lot of misdiagnoses on antifreeze leaks on Duramaxes. They're really not that complicated. The only thing is you know, if you're not used to them, you know, just knowing what all to look for, where all to look at. So the turbo uses antifreeze. It could be leaking antifreeze from the turbo. I've never seen a turbo pass antifreeze. Not saying that it can't be done, but I've never seen it happen. The majority of the time, what I see on these things is either a water pump leaking antifreeze out of the weep hole, usually. I have seen the oil cooler leak antifreeze. I've also seen the radiators leak antifreeze. Like I said, those bypass hoses, I've seen that leak antifreeze. Not just a lot, but I've seen that. The heater core pipe there, I've seen that break. So yeah, there's it's not, like I say, it's not that complicated. It just, you know, if you don't know what you're looking for, then you know, it does seem kind of complicated. So the point of this video is I want to show you guys what to look for, what to look at on your Duramaxes to see if there's any kind of, you know, maybe pinpointed down. So it's usually just kind of the process of elimination, looking at the clues, the evidence, and going from there. So let's go ahead and get this thing up to operating temperature. We're going to go ahead and drive it around the block a few times, and then I'll bring you guys back whenever I get back to the shop. We'll do some more checking. Well, we've got this thing up to temperature, and as I was afraid of, this hose is rock hard, which tells me that this thing is getting pressure into the antifreeze system, which is why this is black. As you can see, that's all internal. There is definitely exhaust gases getting inside this container here. So unfortunately, we are going to have to be doing head gaskets on this truck, which, yeah, I don't have time to do that right now, unfortunately. That's a pretty good sized job. I've got that truck right there that I'm waiting on a motor for, and then I've got another vehicle there that needs the head done. So yeah, unfortunately, as of now, I don't have the time to do this head gasket. But yeah, this is rock hard. I cannot squeeze that thing at all. So that's where we're losing our antifreeze. I'm going to go ahead and get this thing up on the lift. There's a few other things he wanted me to check out, as in the front end's got some loose steering. There's an exhaust leak he kind of wanted fixed, so we'll go ahead and check that. I'm going to go ahead and just double check to make sure that we don't have any leaks anywhere. However, with the pressure that this thing's got, I don't think there's any kind of leaks anywhere, because with that kind of pressure that quickly, we should have a leak somewhere, and that would, you know, that would push more pressure. Obviously it pushes the thing out the hole faster. So let's get this thing on the lift. Let's just double check everything, but more than likely that is the problem, is it's a head gasket. So one of the other things that we could do just to verify that we're getting some exhaust into the cooling system is we can use this. The only problem that I have had with using this is I have not found that it's extremely accurate on the diesel. So it's not one of the, I mean, it's one of those things that I could use, but I don't rely on it, because I've had that thing say that there's no leaks, and then, or no combustion in there, and then it ended up still, you know, there was combustion getting in there. So let's get this thing up on the lift. Let's go ahead and just verify that there's not a leak somewhere that we're missing. This is a big enough job. We want to be certain, with beyond the shadow of a doubt, that that's what it is. So let's go ahead and get this thing pulled in there. My dog out there, he just loves laying on the concrete, especially when it's warm out here. He likes the heat. I hate the heat. Slowly, slowly, surely. About there. All right, low coolant level. Yep, okay, we know. Powering down. Oh, hang on, hang on. Roll the window down for safety. Let's not lock our keys inside. All right, let's get the rack set and get this thing up on the lift and see what we got. All right, we've got this thing up on the lift. We're gonna check this out here. We are looking, because there's antifreeze that comes back from the water pump comes back in through here. So we'll sometimes have a leak there, right up there on that pipe where it comes in. It's dry, there's nothing there. There's antifreeze that goes back through here. I've seen it leak off of there already. That's dry. This is all oil from the oil pan. There's also a the bell housing has a passageway that goes back through there. You'll have some, I've had it where that passageway will crack, and I've had antifreeze leaking out of here, but this is all oil here. That's not antifreeze. And then we'll come over here on this side. I've had there's a passage back here in the back of the head gasket. I've had that leaking off of there already, but I don't see anything there, which is still a head gasket. I still had to do head gaskets on that one. Up here, we don't see anything there. And then we're gonna come around over here, and this is gonna be our water pump. This is a gear-driven water pump, which that's that tube that goes to the back there. We can see that's wet. However, that's coming off of the power steering pump right above it. So that's not antifreeze. Then there is a, if I can get it here, right there. Yeah, right there. There's a weep hole. All right, guys, my camera died. Battery was dead. But as we were saying, there's a weep hole right there. If you can see that. Let's see. I'll zoom in on that. Okay, that's dry. There's no antifreeze coming out of there. Coming over here on the bottom of the radiator here, there's this has got a seal, O-ring seal. Sometimes that will leak. We can see that's dry. We have no antifreeze dripping off the radiator. There's no messes up here. So yeah, unfortunately, through the process of elimination and with the experience that I've had with Duramax head gaskets, I'm going to call it that this thing has blown head gaskets. Again, this thing's the Duramax will 99% of the time will run just fine with a blown head gasket. I have very seldom seen where it will have a misfire, because they don't usually blow between the cylinders, so you don't see that classic misfire of a blown head gasket. And these are steel, multi-layered steel gaskets, so you don't have that epic blowout that you do on a lot of other gaskets. So for that reason, they're a little hard to diagnose sometimes, especially if you're not 100% confident in what you know, your experience. But I have literally done probably, I would say 15 Duramax head gaskets jobs in a couple years. So all the evidence and all the signs and symptoms point to blowing head gaskets, especially with that dark black canister degas bottle. So yeah, this is not going to be any easy cheap fix. This is several $1,000 fix for this customer, unfortunately. Now he could go ahead and drive it. There's guys that drive these things and just add antifreeze to them. The one thing you want to keep an eye on is make sure that the antifreeze is not getting into the oil, but the majority of the time it just blows it out the exhaust. It doesn't actually have a leak into the oil. So yeah, this is still pretty hard. So yeah, unfortunately this is not a happy ending for this job. especially since I don't hardly have time to do it right now. I don't know if this customer is going to wait and have me do it later, or if he's going to find somebody else to do it for him. Don't know. I wouldn't blame him if he wants somebody else to do it, but yeah, that's where we're at. So I think we're going to end this video here. There's not just a whole lot more to do, and I might be back. I'll try to update on whether I'm going to be doing this job or not. Might make a video of me doing the head gaskets, and I'll bring you guys back and show you where the head gasket could have been blown. Usually you can see it. It's not always real obvious, but usually you can find it. So we'll see. But if this is the end of the video, I want to thank you guys for watching. Thank you for being here. Go ahead, hit that like button, share, subscribe to the channel. Doesn't cost you guys anything, and it helps me out a lot. I appreciate it. Y'all have a great day.